Well, hi there, racing fans, and welcome to another edition of Winning Ways, where Super Stub Warren Lanferner joins us on the panel today. And Laf is in Australia at the Perth sale, hopefully doing some good business there for Magic Millions. And then obviously the next big Magic Million sale is Adelaide, where we'll both be going. That will be the 14th of January, 14th of March actually. And it should be fun. But interestingly enough, we've got Blast from the Past today in the hot seat in your call. We've got Cliffy Otto. For those of you that are under 40, you won't remember him. Okay, and for those of you that are over 40, will remember that he was one of the finest trainers on the Highveld, and he certainly was very famous for a match race where Brain Teaser and Divine Act had a gallop together. We've got all that footage. It's great footage, and it was going to be a great show. Let's go in and chat about soccer yesterday. Did you see my beloved Arsenal win in the 94th minute?
James, as you know, I don't know much about soccer, but I can tell you that on my Facebook and on the social media, the Facebook was going mad. So I did pick up a little bit of news. All I can tell you is that Spurs won away from home. That's all I know.
Well, what interests me, Worry, is that for a young man like you, you seem to have a very narrow horizon as far as interests are concerned. Do you know about the rugby?
No, James. I know that when the Sharks play, you know, I know they score a couple of, I know they score a couple of wickets and things like that, you know. But you know, no, James, I'll watch, you know, the rugby. Sharks play South Africa. Of course, I'll watch the game, but I don't know the players, and you know, racing's my game, as I've said before. I watch I've got satellite at home. The TV's firmly on 239.
Okay, so now, if it's firmly on 239, I'm going to ask you about Cheltenham. Cheltenham's the next big meeting that's coming. Are you excited and interested in Cheltenham?
Yeah, I must say that the overseas racing doesn't excite me as much as our local racing, purely because, you know, I don't know all the horses and the jockeys and the trainers as I do here in South Africa. But any sort of racing, anything, I enjoy racing, and even in gong racing, if I'm bored, I'll sit and watch the gong racing. I just love it, James. But to answer your question, yeah, the overseas racing doesn't excite me as much as the South African racing, but I just love it, absolutely love it.
Okay, well, unfortunately, then we can't talk about rugby, we can't talk about soccer, we can talk about racing, but this is a racing show, so let's go and have a look at. We must mention A.B. de Villiers yesterday. Absolutely brilliant. He's a genius with a cricket bat, and he led us from the jaws of defeat to the podium, and victory was his. He, by himself, he was different class. Hashim, the assassinator Amla, different class as well. So well done to those boys. Well done to the Proteas on going and winning something against the Poms. And it certainly helped us at least to have a smile on our dial. But we're going to go and talk about racing, because Warren, as he says, he's an expert on racing. So let's see what he knows all about racing. Let's go and pick up the three to follow.
And they are off in the Travers. Flower Alley is the winner.
His dad, Distorted Humor, he's probably one of his best sons at stud.
I'll have another. Wins the Derby. I'll have another in the Preakness.
Lilacs and Lace, 48-1 upset.
He's just a big, strong, leggy horse.
Right, well, we're going to go in the first of our three to follow. We're going to look at the 9th of February. We're going to Turfentine. And old J. Erasmus, an old friend of mine, I think he's a very, very good trainer. He gets his way around, and he's had some top 2-year-olds in the past. He gets them out, gets them running. He had a little VAR cult that he stepped out for the Sneymonds, and well done to them. They're great supporters of his and great supporters of the game. They ended up winning against winners in the juvenile plate. Let's go and have a look at. He's a VAR.
Here we go, James. We can see he's in jumps from gate 3. Doesn't come out the stalls very well.
Well, he's not coming out at the moment at all.
Not coming out at all,
maybe,
yeah. There we go. A little bit of it could be a fright as the gates opened, and he sort of hesitated. but within 2 strides, boom, he was in front and in the race, like a good sprinter.
Yeah, he's obviously been prepped, well prepped. He's a VAR. He's bred by Narrow Creek Stud, which is our friend Johan. So it just looks like this is a runner. The 2 that he beat, Riverine and Janubi, are really very, very nice horses indeed. And you just see how this horse quickens up at the right time. The horse that's won, Riverine, comes to tackle him here in the Michael Azzi colours. And Mike de Kock's first timer, actually, Janubi, ends up running on the inside. But this horse got their measure, even despite shifting.
Yeah, James, you can, as you say, you can see there's Mike Azzi's horse and de Kock's horse, the Silvano, on the inside. But this horse hangs all over the place. You can see there towards the finish line, very green, but still one with authority, James.
Yeah, absolute authority. Doddled in. He might be a horse to follow this because he looks like he's a typical VAR, nice, big and strong, and won very, very well indeed.
Nice to see Ivan Snowman and his lovely wife on course to lead him in. They were very happy with the win, and nice to, a big supporter of the game is Ivan.
Fantastic for them. As we said, yeah, they deserve every winner that they get. We're going to go to Kenilworth and we're going to look at the maiden juvenile plate for fillies. They went 1,000 meters. This was on the Saturday, and it was race 1. Mike Bass and Candace, absolute triumph for them, first and second. We pick up the second filly. Although the first filly won well, we like the way the second filly ran. Who's That Girl? Very nice filly. Let's go pick him up at the start.
Yeah, there she is in gate 9, James, and also taking a bit of time to jump, but there we go. They do jump, and into the race. Right up on the outside, and this horse, Gypsy Beauty, is gone to the front and sets the pace, James.
Yeah, that and the Royal Duchess, Vaughan Marshall's MJ Bielefeld ridden one on the inside in the red and white colours, and Brahms colours are very prominent on Gypsy Beauty. But the horse that backed has got the white cap on the inside. Wake Up Maggie, Aldo de Meo for Mike Bass. That's by VAR as well, bred by Joey Ramsden, funnily enough. So that wins a good race. But watch this filly. She's under pressure here in the blue and yellow colours, right in the middle of your screen, and she's about 6th or 7th at this stage. Starting to run on well.
Yeah, she's all at sea, James. You can see she's very new at this and doesn't know what's happening. But when the penny drops, and it certainly drops in a big way because she charges home to make a scintillating debut.
Yeah, it was a super run, and they're owned by some very long-standing and good friends of the Basses, the Masons, and a whole lot of other people. But really nice to see them have a good run with this filly. She's by Gitano Hernando, and she's bred by Narrow Creek Stud. She's a very, very nice filly indeed, and you'd expect her to go on and win some races. The next one we're going to go to, and that is at Scotsville, race 1 on Sunday. Another great bunch of supporters for racing in KwaZulu-Natal, the Richards family. They really love their racing.
They love their racing, they love their horses. I know Blake and Kathy go to the stables on a regular basis with bags of carrots and sugar cubes, and they really love their animals, and they give them the best treatment they can, and every winner they have, they deserve, James.
Absolutely. They had a winner later on in the day, but let's go and look at the first race, and we'll pick up Queen's Diamond. Anthony Del Peche rode it, and unfortunately got a bit far out of its ground, this one, but it should have troubled the winner. The winner was really struggling at the end, Russian Girl, but let's go and pick them up at the start.
Yeah, there she is, gate 7, in the Blake and Kathy Richard colours, blue and yellow. Gets a fair jump. Alistair Gordon's horse, Cherry Hill's out and gone. And
that's in the yellow colours.
Yeah, that's in the yellow. Yeah.
Tucks in behind Alistair Gordon's filly with the yellow colours.
Yeah.
The winner is in the whitish colours, one off the right-hand side, white and blue colours. And you'll see how much start this filly gives. You can see her, she's got the yellow halved sleeves just behind Alistair's filly with the yellow colours. The winner is in front at this stage, Russian Girl, and to me, a very, very lucky winner.
Yeah, James, he went to the front and just kept on rolling. And as you say, was looking for the line, the closing stages. And this horse, Queen's Diamond, gets punched out and gets a clear run and runs on well. and run second to the winner. I see the winner, Russian Girl, owned by a couple of the guys, Mark Daly, Ronnie Rowley. I saw them, Stewie McGregor, all on course yesterday.
Yeah, I think it was with Robbie Hill, this horse. I think it had a first run for Puller, Garth. But watch this filly, she runs on really, really well. The other one wins Cosley, hands and heels, but they were flying. The horses on the outside were flying at that filly that won. I don't think there was much in the tank for the winner, but I was really impressed with. Look where she finishes up in the pull-up. She's well clear of them. So I was really impressed with Queen's Diamond, and hopefully the Richardses have a very nice filly on their hands.
I think on Friday night, James, sorry to interrupt, I think on Friday night the Richards also had another runner that ran second, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember chatting to Blake and he said they'd had 2 seconds. You know, and then obviously later on in the day, as you mentioned, they had a winner. So,
Upshot,
yeah, good that things are going well for them.
Very nice indeed. Nice to see some of our supporters from KwaZulu-Natal. That was bred by Summerhill Stud, funny enough, KwaZulu-Natal bred. And nice to see our supporters in KwaZulu-Natal. We don't have the cash that everyone else has, but I can tell you we step out the horses and we look after them better than most. So it was nice to see everyone in the right place. We're going to move on and have a look at Blast from the Past. And it all ties up with what we're going to chat to Cliffy Otto about later. So let's go and see what that looks like.
Soft falling rain, pulling clear. Soft falling rains won the SA Nursery by 3.
Racing in the 2,000 guineas. Gates fly and they're racing in the Godolphin Mile.
They're off and racing.
Weight didn't matter. Class tells, soft falling rain, much too good. Soft falling rain, an impressive guineas winner. Soft falling rain is drawing clear.
He's made it 7 out of 7 by winning here today.
But it's soft falling rain who is powering away. We'll see out the mile in style. A high-class performer wins the Nay of Joel Stakes.
El Pescadoro is in the Star Sprint. They sent on their way then in the Star Sprint. Extreme outside, Prince of War began well, free to run. Tracy's Element hopped out beautifully. So did Secret backed in the yellow colours in the middle. El Pescadoro is there too. Then National Dance and the grey Super Sheila's 3 lengths off those leaders. A length and a half away then to Sligo Bay, now racing 3 lengths from the leaders. And on towards the inside is Allied Invasion. As they come by the 700, Tracy's Element and Secret back are going nose and nose through the 600 metre marker. Then National Dance, Super Sheila starting to move up as well. Allied Invasion, Sligo Bay is 2 lengths off them. Prince of War in the white colours has only got 3 lengths to make up. 300 to go, and Tracy's Element sent about her business now, and she bounds away from them. She leads by 2. Prince of War trying to put pressure on her on the grandstand side, but Tracy's Element's the leader. Prince of War is reeling her in on the outside, but Tracy's Element is still going it. Prince of War's catching slowly, in fact, with each and every stride in a great finish, and it's close. I think Tracy's Element won it. Tracy's Element by a nose.
Well, Tracy's Element ended up winning. She ended up being a star broodmare going to Australia, and she was Australian bred. Ormond Ferraris. You remember that, Warrior? You're a bit young to remember.
James, you know, you were talking about Cliffy Otto. You were saying for the people that are under 40 won't remember him, and the people that were over 40 will. Well, I fall into the under 40 category, so I don't remember Cliffy Otto. I vaguely remember Tracy's Element. 94, it was a little bit before my time, but
How
nice
old
to
were
watch.
you in 94?
Well, I'm 37 now, James, so my maths is not too good. You know, I went to Northwood.
You were probably about 12.
You were probably about 12 or 13. I won't tell you when I had my first bet. The first horse I ever owned, the first share I ever owned when I was in Standard 8.
Yeah.
And my pocket money used to go and pay the training fees. I had 5% in a little grey horse called Rusty Royal.
So you actually have been a proper owner, paying your training fees. The trainer who trained it, disgusting. That he could charge a minor.
A minor,
fees.
yeah, Standard 8 student.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask his name, but we'll move on from there.
I'll tell you.
Ormond Ferraris trained that, and it beat the maroon horse Prince of War by the shortest of short heads. A great race, and the Star Sprint, as it became the Mondi Sprint, it had all types of names. But we're going to take a break. We'll be back with a little more after this race.
Lady Cougar at the 300, she built up a 2.5 length advantage. And Yangan now being asked to hunt her down. Lady Cougar and Yangan now looking to warm to the task a half a length away. Lady Cougar now being claimed by Yangan over the last 100 meters. And Yangan put her head in front. Lady Cougar tries to come back for more, but Yangan's got the winning formula. Lady Cougar second, Peace Again third, Bellamy S Grand fourth, and then Jill's Fancy.
Well, you had to have an Interbet account to get even money about the good thing on Friday night. This filly had won a previous start. She looked like she loved the surface. She didn't get too big a penalty. Everything looked like it was in place for her. And Yangan, bred by Wilgeborstrift, owned by Jessica and the Malherbe team. They were involved in there. Well done. So it's a whole team effort. You know, that whole team, Malherbers, the Slacks and the Slacks and the more Slacks, they're all involved. But Interbet, you had to get even money. And wonderful to see that horse winning Nyangan, that filly by Silvana. We think that she'll go on from there. Won a nice race.
She did win a nice race. You know, I was watching the race with Kevin Shea, and he had a nice wager on this horse, quite rightly so. And he said to me halfway up the straight, he said, "There's big trouble here." I said, "Kevin, the show's not over till the fat lady sings." And, you know, Lady Cougar skipped.
Yeah.
And Delpesh just got this horse to respond and get up where it mattered most. So it was a good win. And I think this horse is not going to stop there, James.
Yeah, she certainly looks like a nice filly, and I'm not sure that she won't go just as well on the grass. So keep an eye out for Nyangan, but well done to the team on a very nice winner over the weekend, and certainly looked like the horse you've got to get the money over the weekend. But we're going to move on and have a look at current affairs.
Yes! If you love soccer and you play the tote, you won't believe what Interbet has to offer you. All the excitement of tote betting on your computer or your cell phone. It's simple. Choose your teams and your bets, work out what your combinations will cost, see how big the pool is, and place your bets. You can even track your bet live as it happens and get updates on your progress. It's all the fun of the tote on your phone. So what are you waiting for? Sign up now at www.interbet.co.za and you could be a winner.
Well, we're going to kick off current affairs with the big race in Johannesburg over the weekend. It was the Tommy Hotspur, named after one of the great sprinters of our era. Tommy Hotspur is by Harry Hotspur, trained by the Alexanders, and it's a lovely race. It gives the sprinters a chance. They go 1,000 meters, and the horse that won it as a triumph for the Maroon team. And you'll see that when we showed the blast from the past, their horse just got beaten in the Star Sprint, and they end up winning the Tommy Hotspur with Viking Hero. So let's go and pick them up at the 600-meter mark.
And there's 6 lengths covering them first to last as they run down now to that last 600 metres, and Jade Bader's out in front with those cheek pieces on by 3 to 4 lengths from Lamia, Splendid Garden and Dollar Dazzler. Further back to Aurum Pot, then Tiger Territory's got 5 lengths to go with Viking Hero on the outside starting to improve. Then doing it for Dad and Move Feed now with 300 metres to go. Jade Bay being tackled by Lamia. Between runners Splendid Garden. Then comes on the outside Aurum Pot, Dollar Dazzler, Viking Hero, then only Tiger Territory. In front it's Lamia here by this length. On the outside running on Splendid Garden, then Viking Hero coming on his Move Feed. Viking Hero has got there. Viking Hero has won it. From Splendid Garden, Move Feed, Aurum Pot to Dollar Dazzler.
Well, wonderful to see Grant Maroon in the winner's box, Group 3 winner for him. And it was Jared Penny's first group winner.
James, very good ride from Jared Penny, I thought. We've got to give credit where credit's due. I thought Jared Penny really rode this horse well. Nice for Grant Maroon, Group 3. And a bit of a training feat. He's a 6-year-old. Came into the race with a lightweight, and it really was a good win, James. And I listened to the post-race interview. And Grant Maroon mentioned in his interview, he told Jared, he said, if you ride this horse the way I tell you to ride it, he'll win. And it's exactly what he did. The rest is history.
Well, he obviously wanted to give the horse a chance and attack late, which he did, and he attacked at the right time. The favourite Mufid always seems to get beaten. He never seems to keep his head in front or get there in time. But he's obviously got ability. And there's a triumph for a friend of ours who breeds here in the Midlands, Ken Tort.
Yes.
He bred at Martin Hall Stud. So very nice for him. It's by Mullins Bay, out of an all-fired up mare. And you'll be able to buy the Mullins Bays. There's Mickey Goss has got this ready-to-run sale during the week, and that should be some sort of fun. You'll be able to go and buy something there cheap.
Get up to Moy River.
Maybe you could end up getting another one like Viking Hero. He's been a hell of a horse, this horse Viking Hero. He's won over R500,000 in stakes, and I don't think he costs very much money. So well done to all of those concerned. And we're going to move on and just chat a bit about what's going on around the world. Striker Stratum was a big blow, breaking his collarbone.
James, it's very sad, you know, that there's been a couple of incidents. You know, we saw Smunga take a tumble the other day. Thankfully, he's all right. We saw Muziyeni take a tumble. So a couple of the jocks have been in the wars, and it's unfortunately part of the territory. But getting back to Stratum, yes, collarbone broken, and he obviously won't be able to take up his engagements with Harry's son in Dubai. And I believe Richard Mullen has taken over the engagement.
Well, it is sad for him, and I think he gets on very well with Harry's son, but the show must go on, and hopefully he'll be back in time for the World Cup. That's what he says he's trying to get himself ready for. That's his main objective on the radar, and let's hope that it falls into place for him.
Most certainly.
Grand National, let's talk about England a bit. Grand National, the stakes are up to £2.9 million for the meeting, the Grand National meeting. It's a 3-day meeting at Aintree, comes in March. And my goodness, we love looking forward to the Grand National. The Irish and the English is this great rivalry.
Yeah, absolutely, James. It's a lovely race, and it's a great festival. It's good fun, and as you say, £2.9 million. That's telephone numbers. If you.
It's actually in April at Aintree. I'm sorry, that comes after the Cheltenham Festival. But the Irish and English, as far as racing is concerned, just touching on them. There's a huge rivalry.
Huge rivalry, yeah, absolutely. And I've never been on course, and before my number's up, I'd like to get to the Grand National one day. I'd like to get to Dubai. I'm still young, James. I've got some time ahead to get to these meetings.
Well, Dubai, we're going to go and have a look at now. We're going to go and look at the triumph for the week as far as South Africa was concerned was Liquid Mercury. And let's go and pick him up. He won a very, very good race, this horse. It was the Gulf News Sport handicap. It was a 1 mile and 4, which is 2,400 meters. And what was interesting about it was the way this horse won. And he's by Trippy. Bred by Drockenstein, well done to them. But he really looks like a find. And I think Mike de Kock was glowing in his praise of Joey Ramsden in finding this horse for him. And I love the way this horse won. I think he's a very good horse. I really like him. And they get everything they deserve. They work damn hard on putting this together. Let's go and have a look.
They look ready to run. Racing, Antonori jumped with them tonight. Mujarib was slow to go. He's immediately at the back of the field. Sugar Boy is hustled out of the machine. Quarterback is going forward, but Sugar Boy claims the plastic. Liquid Mercury is third, Spend the Cash fourth, and then Code of Honor, Antonori Pilo. Snow Squall is second last, and Mujarib 2 lengths away as they make the turn out of the straight. Sugar Boy makes play under the apprentice, leading by a touch more than a length, with short of 2,000 metres left to run. Quarterback settles second. Liquid Mercury 1.5 lengths away third. 1.25 lengths to Spend the Cash on the outside of Code of Honor. 1.25 lengths to Antonori on the outside of Pilo. Snow Squall is second last, and Mujarib has settled at the rear of the field as they turn into the back straight, where Sugar Boy is sneaking away. He ran the first 400 metres in a leisurely 27.5. He's opened up the gap now to 3.5 lengths over Quarterback, with Liquid Mercury 2 lengths away third. A length and a half to Code of Honour, a half length to Spend the Cash. A length and a quarter to Pilo on the inside of Antonori. A length and a quarter to Snow Squall, and a length and a half away is Mujarib. 800 metres, 53.2. So Sugar Boy is setting fractionals to suit himself. He's run past the 1100 metres beg, and now he's almost 6 lengths in front of Quarterback, with Liquid Mercury 2 lengths away in third spot. A length and a half to Code of Honour, a half length to Spend the Cash, a length and a quarter to Pilo, then Antonori, Snow Squall, and Mujarib is last of all. When will these other jocks decide to chase? Sugar Boy's run a leisurely 1200 of 1:18.49. He's midway between the bends with 650 metres left to run. He's 8 lengths in front of Quarterback, 2.5 lengths to Liquid Mercury, a length to Spend the Cash ridden, Code of Honour on the rail, then Antonori, Pilo, Snow Squall, and Mujarib can't keep up. The gap is 5. Coming around the bend, 450 metres left to run. Sugar Boy, 5 in front of Quarterback. Liquid Mercury, Code of Honour to the outside. The tank's almost empty with the leader now. He's only tippy-toeing in the big grey. Liquid Mercury comes after him. Code of Honour's a length away. Liquid Mercury's hit the front. 150 metres left to go. Code of Honour's trying to go with him. Sugar Boy battling on, but Liquid Mercury in front and too good. Liquid Mercury first, Code of Honour second, Sugar Boy third, Pilo fourth, then Quarterback and Antonori. A break to Snow Squall, Spend the Cash.
Well, there you go. Isn't it wonderful to be able to sit on a Thursday night and watch our South African heroes doing it in Dubai? And just as a side word, hope Mike de Kock had a happy birthday yesterday. It was his birthday, and we'll never forget that, because Valentine's Day birthday for Mike de Kock, and I hope you had a good one, Mike. But this was a good win. This is a very nice horse.
Very good horse, James. Won most impressively. I actually hadn't seen this race. I was out and watched it now. Really impressive.
So you actually do go out as well?
Yes, I do.
You watch racing all
I
the
do
time.
go out, James. I do go out. Lovely race. Christoph Simeon did well and really impressive. Nice to see the de Kock team just flying the flag so high for us.
Yeah, it's big because we've got Let's Go Travel, do all the tours there for them. And last year I was lucky enough to go on the World Cup tour. I always go to Super Saturday, which I'm going to again this year, hopefully. Who knows? We don't know what's going to happen in the next hour, never mind about the next month. But at this stage, I'm going to Super Saturday to go and have a look and support the South African heroes and the South Africans there. But Phil's now put together a couple of packages, because you can go now on the big tour, which we've always gone for Dubai World Cup, or you can go on the budget tour where you don't get a seat in the normal room that you sit on race day, but you do the rest of the tours absolutely the same. So I think that this is very encouraging, because you save exactly 15,000 Rand on the budget tour. Let's see what Phil's advert looks like.
Chance of doing it again. Forey's Waltz moves in. He's taken over as international favourite in front of Ertagel. He's been well supported, and he is also Big Six favourite. Forey's Waltz pounced on the outside, went to his stable companion. Ertagel battles back, but the South Africans are 1, 2 and 4 in the end. The real Forey's Waltz has stood up this season. Banadia leads. Anna Aromio is coming at him. The post is looming up. Anna Aromio lunged, and I think in the last gasp has won. Mike's a magician in successive races. It's de Kock 1, 2, probably 1, 2, 3.
Right, well, I'm not going to hold you up the budget one, which is this one, and I don't know if we can get it on our screen, but a split screen is not going to help us at all. So let's see what happens if we can get one camera. There you go. This is the cost saver tour, 28,450. Phil told me yesterday you save exactly 15,000, and well worth having a look at that one, because that's the same dates, everything's the same. You go to Dubai with the rest of the team, you're in the same bunch of people, the same group, and you're going to have everything that everyone else has except the race day experience where they have it on the ground floor. But you do have a booked area where you can go in there and you have a buffet, and but there's no booked table seating, which is, I think makes it, but 15,000 extra is quite expensive.
Yeah, James, it's, I think, a good initiative and good thinking on Phil's behalf and Let's Go Travel's behalf, because, you know, as you say, 15,000 is 15,000. Some people need to budget accordingly. Some people may not be able to afford the luxurious tour. So good on Phil and well done. And I haven't yet been on one of these tours, and I will go, as I said earlier. Family members of mine have been, and they've just said it's non-stop from beginning to end, action-packed, and the best tour they've ever been on.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to move on from that, and we're just going to have a quick word about the China Horse Club. They were active at the CTS sale here in January, bought a horse, and to have the China Horse Club involved is huge. But their latest acquisition is a share in the champion first season sire, Siyuni. Did you read about that?
Yes, James. Siyuni was an Aga Khan horse, if I'm not mistaken, and Mick Flanagan bought this horse. Mick Flanagan bought, he worked for Mike de Kock, and they paid €330 for a share.
330,000 euros.
330,000 euros for a share in this horse. So interesting.
Yeah,
Siyuni, very interesting.
Good business, and wonderful to have the China Horse Club here involved in South Africa. They're looking everywhere. They're trying to build their brand and their market, and it's a wonderful whole setup that they put together. This guy's put together the China Horse Club. They're going to become bigger and bigger players, might end up the biggest players in the world. But we're going to talk to someone who was a big player in this business and who's retired gracefully, but I think the hankering's still there. We'll chat to Cliffy Otto in Your Call. Well, every now and again, we unearth a diamond, and they found a big one there in Namibia the other day. I don't know how this came about, but old friend of mine, Cliffy Otto, arrived at Summerveld one morning. I looked at this guy, I thought, I know him. I haven't seen him for about 15 years, maybe close to 20 years. But we made acquaintance, and I said to him, why don't you come on Winning Ways? And thankfully he agreed. So this should be very interesting. He's given us some footage, and it will be great to talk about Cliffy Otto, who was one of the best trainers of his era in Gauteng. Cliffy, nice to have you with us.
Thank you very much, James. Thanks for having me.
Well, how did it happen that you gave up training? You know, you were at the top of the tree.
Well, James, you know, had a lot of groom strikes. The horses kept on getting viruses, and eventually we had flu vax, and I just thought, hey, this is not for me. So unfortunately, I must say, unfortunately, I said I've had enough and I'm out of here. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah. You just packed it in.
Yeah.
And you moved to the South Coast in Natal.
Well, I opened another business in Vereeniging.
Yeah.
And didn't like that too much. Then I bought a bakery in Port Shepstone. And I'll tell you what, training horses is like a Sunday school picnic compared to having a bakery.
But which makes more money?
I'd say I've been luckier in the horses, you know. I would say the horse racing was very, very good to me. Very, very good.
And the 20 years you've been away, do you turn on the racing channel? Do you see what's going on there?
I never miss a race.
Huh?
I hardly ever miss a race.
So once it's in the blood, it's in the blood.
You know, you can leave the horses, but they don't leave you. That's the way it works.
Now,
you know, because I've got a lot of mates.
Yeah.
You know, like you. If I see James has got a runner, you know, like Sean Steyn was my assistant.
Yeah.
And, you know, Gavin Van Sale, he was my apprentice. You know, so you got a lot, and a lot of my owners are still active in the game. So, you know, you follow it with interest to see how they're doing.
All right, let's go back to the beginning. And we're going to show a picture of Cliffy Otto, where he started. Let's go and have a look at where you started. Tell us what this is all about.
These are my stables at Copperbelt Turf Club. It's in the 60s. The owners, that's me, obviously, the young one. And Dougie Dutronic and Jan Venter. I had a very, very good horse of theirs called Rainstorm. It won 11 races in a row there, from 1200, and it won the Derby. It was a magnificent horse. Then we decided to bring it down to South Africa. And it raced first time out for IJ van der Merwe. I don't know if you remember him.
Yes, Isaac at Turfentine.
Yes, and won very, very well. Very, very well. They even put some Picolets on and claimed they had a cheek.
Yeah.
You know, because the handicap obviously ignored the Zambian form, but he wouldn't allow it to run in the maiden, so it went in the bottom division.
Yeah.
And I think he won another 12, yeah, including the Gold Cup.
Yeah.
So he was really an extreme.
With Mace Roberts, I think that he won the Gold
Herman
Cup.
Brown trained him, yes.
And Mace Roberts rode him.
Yes,
in fact, he might have won on objection.
Objection, that's correct.
Well, the horse that won was a horse I prepared for Eddie Agopian. I used to ride at work every
Uncle
morning.
Eddie's horse, yes.
Yeah. So there you are. And Eddie Agopian, when he left Joburg, said to me, he said, I'm going to have 10 rand each way on for you on this horse. And I watched the race and was so excited because he won, but he then got the race taken away. He won by about 4 lengths. Aubrey Zuko, I think, rode the winner.
Yes.
Yeah. So, okay, this is just reminiscing. So, there you are in the Copperbelt, training horses, having a lovely time. Ralph Rickson was there with you?
Yes. Uncle Ralph, he was there. Auntie Val, she actually used to ride. She was a very, very good amateur jockey. I used to ride in races with her. And George Uren was there training at the time. He's in PE now. Ronnie Sheehan was there. Sid Allahan was there. He came down here as well with quite a lot of success.
His son-in-law McCluskey.
Ian McCluskey was his son-in-law. Yeah. And then, obviously, with the economic climate up in Zambia, the racing actually fizzled out. It came to an end. So I came down here. And I got a job with Jim Brady as an assistant. I stayed with him for about a year. And I branched out on my own.
What year was that?
Probably 1980s, around there. I don't know exactly.
No, it must have been 80s. Before that, because we got a picture we're going to show 75.
Oh, well, yeah, you know, the old memory goes, you know.
I must have been somewhere before that. We'll show this picture, and you can talk about it, because you end up with some guys. Jimmy Brocco was one of your...
Jimmy Brocco, yes. It was his yard, that I went into.
You took his yard over,
I took his yard. And then I got support from Rod Backus.
Yeah. Rod Backus, the tipster.
Yes,
he was a bookmaker.
Yes, and he was actually the best man at my wedding, Rod. Yeah, and I phoned him the other day because he just had our 39th wedding anniversary. So Rod and I go back a long time. And old Alan Jacobson had some horses with me, and I don't want to forget anyone. It's a long time ago.
Yeah, but Alan Jacobson's interesting. Alan and David Jacobson, they had at Newmarket, they had the contract for the flower beds or the keeping of the roads or something. And Billy Jacobson's their son.
No, Alan had he had hardware stores and clothing shops. And the brother, actually worked, David, yes, he passed away, unfortunately.
He's Billy's father.
No, Alan is
Billy's father, okay.
Now, Billy is my godson.
Okay.
Because, you know, we go back a long time. He was a tiny little boy.
Is he a God-fearing boy, Billy? Have you taught him
He
well
is,
as
he
a
is.
good godfather?
He's a little gentleman. He sure is.
He's a nice guy, Billy.
A very nice chap.
He
yes.
loves surfing.
Yes.
Yeah.
And, you know, then that's how we went on. Then I moved to the Vaal. Because the training, you know, because Newmarket was coming to an end. I moved to the Vaal, and then I met a chap called Job van der Vendel.
How do you meet him?
Well, you know, all my friends asked me, where did he come from?
Yeah.
So I said he came from heaven. Because he changed my life, I can tell you.
Yeah.
You know, then he, you know, he was a Hollander, and he introduced me then to Roy Groenendijk after we had a bit of success, you know.
Yeah.
And Hans Ehrenstein, that was, you know, and then things started flying, really. Then I built up a very, very nice string of horses, and we went on from there.
All right, the famous part of this story, and it might not be famous as far as you're concerned because you won lots of big races and decent races, but there was the match race between Brain Teaser and your horse Divine Act.
That's right. That was, to me, the most stressful time. And it was only 2-horse race, you know. But they made such a hoo-ha of it. You know, it was like on the TV, in the papers, and it was very stressful. I don't know why. But anyway, I'm sure Rod Backus had something to do with putting that race together, you know, because he won so easily first time out.
Who this was Divine Act?
Divine Act, yeah.
Yeah.
That was after him. But then Brain Teaser, he won very, very easily first time out. And then second time out, he won the Snow Craywagen handicap.
Yeah.
And I mean, he absolutely dawdled it. Then came the challenge.
Now, what was the challenge about? Apparently, you each put in 50,000.
50-50,
Yeah.
and the club matched us.
They put in 100.
They put in 100.
Winner take all.
Winner take all, yes.
At Gosforth Park.
That's it, yeah.
And you didn't mind about where it was and what happened, and you know, you just went.
Well, Gosforth Park, actually, we wanted to put it on at Turfentine,
Yeah.
because he'd run there.
Yeah.
You know, now I had to take him to a new venue.
It only had one run, your horse.
Only the one run, yes,
Yeah.
only the one. So, you know, I didn't want to take him to a strange place. But then Gosforth Park was the only people that entertained the idea of having a match race.
They were the most progressive club.
They
weren't
were the ones. They
Wally
said,
Siegel and
Yeah.
Graham Beck just made that club into something that was unbelievable.
he was such an administrator.
Yeah.
So anyway, then it happened.
Okay, so we've got a little bit of footage, so we're going to show you the footage. It's about 7 minutes, but it is absolutely fascinating. You've got the background. Now watch what happens.
Inside Bob John, but this is Brain Teaser's race. He's now showing what a class horse he is, because he's putting daylight between himself and the rest. And Brain Teaser is absolutely dodging this one. He must be 6 lengths clear at the line. Brain Teaser from Hooves of Gold.
Brain Teaser looks a horse in a million. He won his debut race by 10 lengths and then trounced Durban Nursery winner Hooves of Gold by 6 in the Snow Craywagen over 1,000 metres at Gosforth Park. But is he as good as Divine Act?
Divine Act going past the 200. The more they ask, the more he's giving them. Absolutely unbelievable. Annihilating his opposition. Believe me, must win this one by 15, maybe 20 lengths. Divine Act going away.
It was a sensational performance by Divine Act. He smashed the class record, he nearly broke the course record, and many have hailed him as South Africa's next champion racehorse, including his trainer, Cliff Otto. We've had a couple of top sprinters. How do you rate Divine Act amongst those?
I'd say he's better than anything I've ever trained. He's phenomenally fast.
Otto has no doubts Divine Act is a champion. But now listen to Mike Azzi, who trains Brain Teaser. Brain Teaser's record speaks really for himself, but what we don't know is just how good is he really.
Well, Francois, he's something of a phenomenon. He's a great animal. He's something special. I think I'm a very lucky guy to be associated with such a true champion at such an early stage of my career.
Divine Act said will kick in Brain Teaser's brains. Is that possible?
Now you're asking me. Well, they have to think that way, because otherwise they wouldn't have wanted a match race.
Thousands of racing fans are now arguing about who is the better horse. The argument will be settled at Gosforth Park next Saturday, when these champions of the future 200,000 Rand winner-take-all match race.
has made all sorts of statements about Brain Teaser. I'd say he certainly talked a better race than Cliffy Otto has talked. But on the other hand, Cliffy's very confident. He says there's not a horse in his stable who can match Divine Act in work. And we asked him earlier this week just what kind of a horse Divine Act is to train.
Yes, he's absolutely a gentleman. In the stable, he's very, very well mannered. And a very, very easy horse to start, very willing horse.
Now what I've seen of him, he's quite a nice looking horse, but he's got quite a bad parrot mouth. Does that cause him problems?
Yes, actually it causes him quite a lot of problems when he drinks, but he's adapted very well. He submerges half of his head into the bucket to enable him to drink water.
Now Cliff, coming back to the match race on Saturday, have you got anything in mind in terms of tactics, letting Divine Act go clear and let Brain Teaser catch him or whatever?
Well, I think as I said earlier, his biggest attribute is his initial speed, and I think that's what we're going to be using.
Michael Azzi, who trains Brain Teaser, says this won't be a race. He says Brain Teaser will win in a canter. What have you got to say about that?
Well, I think he's absolutely over-optimistic, and he's really going to have a hard race on his hands.
Well, as you see, the moment of truth is about to happen. Brain Teaser, the last we looked at, 6-10. Divine Act, 11-10. And away they go in the 200,000 rand. Winner take all Gosforth Park Challenge. That's Piers Stradum and Brain Teaser on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, in the red sleeves and the red cap, Charles van Boom and Divine Act. And there's nothing in it at this stage as they come down towards the 600-meter pole. If anything, Brain Teaser, perhaps a little surprisingly, matching strides with Divine Act, because we thought that Divine Act would go ahead early on and that Piers Stradum would ride a waiting race on Piers Stradum. But there's nothing to it as they come down towards the 400-meter pole. Brain Teaser possibly just the edge and going slightly the better. Divine Act is already starting to feel that right-handed whip, as you can see, but there's still nothing in it because the two are locked side by side. Now Divine Act starts to respond. Stradum's had to go for the stick on. And look at this. This is absolutely unbelievable. Divine Act has quickened away from Brain Teaser, and when you consider that Brain Teaser has won his first two starts by 16 lengths, there's no doubt we have a champion on our hands. Dick made a hack of Brain Teaser, and Michael Azzi is going to have to eat his words because this is a racehorse, Divine Act.
Quite right, Graham. It's unbelievable how good Divine Act must be. Brain Teaser's work at home, he murders top division horses like Hamilton Hill, Golden Climb, Cavalan. This afternoon he couldn't hold a candle to Divine Act.
Not in the least. As they came to the fore, in fact, Charles van Boom was the first to go for the stick, but I think there was a safety precaution, if I may say so, because here we see in slow motion, once he asked Divine Act to quicken, it was a matter of strides before he took control of the race, and there was absolutely nothing that Piers Stradum and Brain Teaser could do about it. Here we see Divine Act striding away. He won his first race in 56,85. I fancy the time will be thereabouts again. There's the victory salute from Charles van Boom, and it is 5 lengths. And the merit of this performance is something we've got to look at, Robert, because we have to remember that Brain Teaser won his debut by 10.5 lengths. He then came out in the Snow Craveach Juvenile Handicap, and he gave Hooves of Gold a 6 lengths beating. Michael Azzi rates him the best horse he's ever trained. Cliffy Otto, as you said before the race, was a little bit more reticent about his remarks. He simply said, this is the fastest horse in South Africa, and I don't think we can doubt him now.
Yes, Graham, how good, I don't know. Brain Teaser beat Hooves of Gold, that Durban Nursery winner, by 6 lengths. He got beaten a similar margin by Divine Act this afternoon. That makes Divine Act something like a dozen lengths better than a Durban Nursery winner. One thing I would like to say, perhaps Piers Stradum made a mistake by letting Brain Teaser stride it with Divine Act in the early stages. Might have done better to have sat behind him.
Well, quite frankly, Robert, I don't think that it would have made any difference today, because Divine Act was simply far too good for him, and 200,000 rand goes into Mr. Roy Groenendyke's bank account. Charles van Boom was absolutely delighted. Cliffy Otto, of course, must be smiling from ear to ear, and Michael Azzi, well, he's got to go back to the drawing board.
Well, here we go. This is the lead-in, and Cliffy, just talk us through this moment, because you say this was very stressful.
It was, absolutely. You know, it just, even though it was, I can just imagine what it feels like having the favourite of the July. You know, that's how I felt. It was really stressful.
Those two guys? Roy on the
that's
left?
Hans Ehrenstein.
Yeah.
That's his brother-in-law, leading it in with him, yes.
And Charlie van Boom rode the horse.
Charlie, yes.
Now, there's an interesting story as to why Charlie ended up riding the horse, because Toby was meant to ride the horse, wasn't he? He was your stable jockey.
Yeah, Toby was my stable jockey. We're doing very well, and then he got a good offer to ride in Mauritius. And he said, he asked me nicely, you know, he wants to go to Mauritius. I said, fine. He says, I'll give you my brother. So I said, okay, give me your brother. And he rode him first time out, and I just felt it was extremely unfair to actually jock him off, you know. Although it was, I mean, I could have had
You
anyone
must have had
else.
pressure to have anyone. And
Yes,
everyone.
there was a bit of pressure, but you know, you got to show a bit of loyalty. I mean, he knew the horse better than anyone else. He was there riding it every day, and he had to travel far to come out to the Vaal. So I think he had to be rewarded for his efforts, you know.
Cliffy, just the build-up to the race, there was all this talk, and they mentioned it afterwards, that they thought your horse was going to go clear, but you obviously had a plan. How did it all work out? What did you guys think of? How did you go about it?
Well, I said to Charlie, don't let him just bolt off, because he's never been here. He's only had one run. He could possibly be a bit green, which I think he showed in the race. I said, you know, as long as you have a bit of company for as long as you possibly can have company, I'll be happier, you know. And if he bolts off on his own, no company, you know, never seen the course, lots of people on the track, and I just thought he'd be better off with a bit of company.
How good was he? What did he end up doing, Divine Act? Because I know he went to study. He was a very good horse to study.
He won 10.
Yeah.
He won the, you know, he was a excellent, very, very good horse.
Yeah.
I think he got beaten 3 times for me.
Yeah.
Twice here in Maritzburg, he just hated that course. He just absolutely...
A lot of horses don't go at Maritzburg. They just do not run well there.
You know, with these, it seemed like a downhill, running down and he just couldn't even act, couldn't. And then we brought him the second year, and exactly the same thing happened.
Yeah.
But
Well,
in between the races, I mean, he was winning.
And was he purely a 1,000-meter horse?
Well, he won 12.
Yeah.
Yeah, but because he had, you know, he was doing well enough, I wasn't going to try him over further.
How did you end up getting him?
Oh, we just bought him at the sales.
But he had a parrot mouth.
He did, but he was so magnificent.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously even the parrot mouth didn't harm him because of his physique was so magnificent. I mean, he couldn't, if it was, they would have had to drip feed him, you know. So
Yeah.
obviously he was eating well.
Yeah.
But he struggled a bit he had to adapt, you know, because he couldn't get the suction with that parrot mouth of his.
Yeah.
So he had to, nearly his nostrils went into the water as well. But he adapted well, and he really was a trouble-free horse.
Okay, well, we've got a picture now we want to show you, and Cliffy said he got a gift from God. There's the gift from God in the middle, isn't it?
That's him, Mr. Jaap van der Vendel.
Tell us about Jaap.
You know, he came along, and, you know, I've never actually met a person quite like Jaap van der Vendel. Absolute crazy gambler, scared of nothing. When it came to the yearling sales, if he wanted a horse, he bought it. Even if horses that I didn't even see, if he decided he was going to buy that horse, he bought it. I mean, I even arrived at stables next morning and floats arrived after I'd left the sales.
Yeah.
Another 5 arrived.
But you and he had a very special relationship because you were known as a very good trainer of setting horses up. You seemed to have the knack of being able to get them ready, and Jaap loves having a bet.
Oh yes. But you know, James, we mustn't just say, we must remember.
Yeah.
We remember only the winners.
Yeah, this horse now that we got on the picture.
We forget the losers very soon.
Who's this horse?
That is Brandy Ball.
Yeah.
And that also belonged to Jaap van der Vendel. He was Smackaroo's half-brother. But he was a bit of a nutcase.
Yeah.
But he won 10 with a very good horse.
And you obviously went down to try and win the Smirnoff with him.
Well, it was the Jockeys International day,
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
But being the nutcase he was, he just travelled so badly. I drove him down, and the float, I think we did double the distance, you know. Because he was
the float rattle around a bit.
So, what can we say?
But Cliffy, you were a marvellous trainer. Tell us about some of your real big wins. You know, I know that you had that very good filly, ballerina, something. Ballerina.
Little ballerina, yes, yes. Well, she was, you know, Joop and I had the horse.
Yeah.
And then we decided to send her down to David Payne. Then he sent her to, he went down to the Cape for the season. And she was in the race. She even had club colours on as the pacemaker. And she went to the front and she stayed there.
Was the fillies guineas or something?
No, the guineas.
Oh, the guineas, the actual guineas.
The actual guineas, yes.
Oh.
It was marvellous. I was watching at Turfentine, I was the only one screaming.
You have a share in her?
Yes. Well, you know, Joop, often he just said, I've bought the horse, you feed it.
Yeah.
And half the stakes are yours, you know. So we did that on quite a few horses, and we had a very good relationship, you know.
And the mates that he had around him, I see that he's still got a lot of horses under his sort of business name.
Yes, yes.
Fendel Civils, I think he calls himself. Do you still keep in contact with him?
Oh, now and again, yeah. We phone one another.
Would you like to train horses again?
I would, absolutely, yes. I'd like to get involved with the horses. I think I'm too old to start a string from scratch again, you know.
Yeah.
But I would certainly, yes, I would, you know, because it becomes part of your life, horses. You know, it never leaves you. From a little boy, I was riding horses, jumping and amateur jockey, training. You know, it's in you, in your blood.
You know, Cliff, I've always believed, and I've come to the stage, I ran a big stable like you, and that come to the stage that in our retirement we should train a few horses and just have some fun and have some good people around us. Surely that's possible for someone like you. If they could find you 20 stables, you'd find patrons.
Oh, look, ideally I'd like to become a private trainer to someone.
Yeah.
You know, in that capacity, or even breeding, just to be with the horses. I love the horses, you know, that's what I miss the most.
But the bakery, are you getting rid of it, or what's
it's gone? It's gone.
Gone.
I virtually gave it away. Yes.
So
every time we had a power outage, you know, I was slinging away $5,000. You know.
Yeah.
Everything was ruined.
So we'd like to see you back in this business. You'd like to get back in this business. Let's see what happens.
Let's see. Let's hope something positive comes out of it, James.
Well, I certainly hope something does for you, because Cliffy Otto, not only a great friend, one of the great guys in this game, and he's put his life and soul into it, and it would be lovely to see him make a comeback here. Any of you out there interested in getting hold of him, give me a call and I'll be able to put you in touch with Cliffy. From Winning Ways this week, we hope you've enjoyed the interview. We think it's been fun, and there are some wonderful people out in this racing business. We'll try and keep you up to date with them. Hopefully we get Mace Roberts next week with the next match race. Until next week, you have a great week's racing.
It's a very good race, Laura. I thought Mercury had a chance of doing it again. Forrest Walsh moves in. He's taken over as international favourite in front of Ertogel. He's been well supported, and he is also picked 6 favourite. Forrest Walsh, but pounced on the outside, went to his stable companion. Ertogel battles back, but the South Africans are 1, 2 and 4 in the end. The real Forrest Walsh has stood up this season. Benedier leads. Anna Arobio is coming at him. The post is looming up. Anna Arobio lunged, and I think in the last gasp has won. Mike's a magician in successive races. It's sort of cocked 1, 2, probably 1, 2, 3.